This morning, Daniel Penny will be arraigned following his grand jury indictment for the subway death of homeless man Jordan Neely.
The former Marine is facing second-degree manslaughter charges for putting Neely in a chokehold after he allegedly, Mr. Neely, threatened passengers on a subway car. Our next guest says this is an absolute miscarriage of justice. Here to react, former New York City Police Department lieutenant and former member of the U.S. Army, Dr. Darrin Porcher. Doctor, good morning to you.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's heartbreaking to a lot of people because they look at what Daniel Penny did as being heroic, and now he's going to be charged with second-degree murder?
Absolutely. This is an atrocity, to say the least, and this is a narrative being driven by the Manhattan District Attorney. This was clearly a person that was looking to assist people that had their safety placed in danger. Just picture if your kids were on that same subway car and you had the same individual accosting them.
Terrifying.
Would you want people to just sit by idly as they could possibly be assaulted? No. I think what Mr. Penny did was something that deserves a hero's welcome, and is fortunate that we've raised up to short of $3 million in his legal defense fund.
You know, this sends a message to the criminals that you can do this and you can get away with it. It doesn't matter what you do on a subway, you can harass people, and if they hurt you, they're going to be charged. And it also sends a message to innocent people: don't get involved. Turn the other cheek, walk away. Yeah. Do not get involved in this or you could go to jail.
The city of New York is focused on the wrong trajectory. We're focusing on pizza owners, migrants that are coming into the city. We're affording them shelter, but we're not looking through the lens of public safety. This was a person, Mr. Penny, that looked through the lens of public safety, and it wasn't just him, but there were other riders in that subway car that assisted to restrain this individual, and unfortunately they're being persecuted.
So what's going to be new today? When he goes in and gets charged, we already know that he was, he's in front of a grand jury and was indicted. What are we going to find out new today?
Well, Brian,
is this just ceremonial?
Brian, this is merely ceremonial, but this is the official introduction of the charges. Everything is now being unsealed.
Will he be surprised by anything he hears?
I don't think there's really going to be much that's going to be surprising. However, what will come out is the interviews of the other individuals that were on that subway car that would now be introduced to Mr. Penny, so he can more so be apprised of what's coming as we move forward in the criminal process.
Right, and ultimately what's probably going to be contained in the indictment will be some excerpts from the grand jury and the witnesses that the prosecutor brought in, who will make it seem like Daniel Penny was out to kill the guy, whereas there were other people who essentially would say, look, he was here, he was going to save us.
It's going to be a collaboration or an amalgamation of a series of interviews and what the district attorney made an assessment on that's going to be presented to Mr. Penny. Yeah. But overall, I think Mr. Penny is in a good place because we, as the majority of the citizens of New York, stand behind his actions. And this is a miscarriage of justice, and he's being persecuted in the court of public opinion, being driven by the Manhattan District Attorney.
Because of the race, because everyone indicated it was race-related, because Penny's white and Jordan Neely is black, and there were riots that happened after, stopping subway cars. That's what really it seemed to have got Alvin Bragg incited.
I think that's a component also, Mr. Penny being a former Marine, and the perception is he had a certain level of training, right, which he could have gone, which they believed he went overboard, which is absolutely not the case. This was a person that was doing what was right to protect us as innocent citizens.
Darrin Porcher, thank you very much for joining us. Let's see what happens today.
Thanks for having me as a guest.
Thank you, sir. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.